Nigeria has 3 geopolitical zones. If you ask a Nigerian political commentator who knows his onion, he will tell you that the last time Nigeria as an entity made sense was when it was administered as 3 separate regions. They have different names for it: federations, autonomous, but basically it was 3 entities in one. We have the northern region, which covered anything that was north of Kogi, Benue, and Kwara State today. We had the eastern region, and then we have the western region. But if I were to ask you, or if someone were to ask us, because we are in this together, what are these 3 regions? How did we come about these 3 regions? Do they still exist today? It would seem like a given, but it's not. Therefore, in order for us to say what these 3 regions are, we have to say what they aren't. Firstly, it is not Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. No, those are many languages. And as we know, those languages are not the only languages spoken in Nigeria. It is obviously not the demarcation that you see by the rivers Niger and Benue and the confluence that goes down into the delta. That's too obvious. And that is really just nature. It is not the rainforest, the savanna, and the desert lands. That's geography. The best way to describe these regions is that it is a callback to a simpler time where there were less problems to worry about and there were more resources to play with. Take Lagos State, for example. As at the time that Nigeria gained its independence in 1960, Lagos State had a population of about 3 million people. 10 years before that, Lagos State had 2 million people. In 2026, Lagos State has 28 million people. The Niger Delta is another example. When oil was discovered in Nigeria, what we refer to as the Niger Delta today was fertile, luxurious land and water that produced wildlife and produced vegetation for the inhabitants and for Nigeria as a whole. Today, exploration of our natural resources has affected the crops, the wildlife, the vegetation, the weather, and even the quality of air. In other words, it is no longer the same place. Here's one more example. Lake Chad is one of the few oases that exists in the Sahel. Millions of people, and by millions, I'm talking tens of millions, 30 million people could directly and indirectly trace their livelihoods to the Lake Chad. Since 1960, the Lake Chad has depreciated in size by more than 80%. That is not something that you can overlook. What these 3 examples have in common is that when there are less people, when there is less stream, it is much easier to administer things. But with the growth of population, with the increase in problems, times tend to become less simple. Back then, in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, there were three major regions. It was easy to see them, it was probably easy to administer them. Today, I don't think they exist. I do not think there are three major regions in Nigeria any longer. And if there are, I would like you to point them out to us.